Welcome, high-impact thinkers, to the Dr. Carmenatty channel. This is not just news, this is your strategic advantage report. This is the moment we stop reacting to the world's threats and start dictating the terms of our own digital destiny. We analyze the chaos, we find the core lesson, and we mobilize for absolute victory. Today, we confront a brutal truth. The digital battleground is not leveling out. It is growing darker, faster, and more deceptive than ever before. We face an enemy that does not sleep, an adversary capable of striking at the very foundation of global infrastructure. This is not a drill. This is not a hypothetical threat. Major, sophisticated actors just proved they hold the keys to the critical systems protecting the Fortune 500, governments, and every major enterprise that relies on the digital backbone. Chapter 1. The Betrayal of the Gatekeeper. Look at the headlines. F5 exposed to nation-state breach. Say that name out loud. F5 manufactures the absolute gatekeepers of the internet, the big IP family of products, devices managing the load, security, and access for hundreds of thousands of organizations worldwide. Companies build their entire security perimeter around these products. They trusted F5 to hold the line. But the attackers did not merely test the perimeter, they lived inside the very fortress. F5 confirmed it. A highly sophisticated nation-state threat actor broke into its engineering environments. They didn't just walk through the front door, they resided in the house for at least 12 continuous months. 12 months of silent, persistent access before F5 even detected the intrusion in August 2025. This long-term, silent dwell time is the new gold standard for espionage. This defines the asymmetry we face. What did the adversary take? They stole the crown jewels. They exfiltrated portions of the big IP source code itself. They took files from the product development environment. Crucially, they seized detailed information regarding undisclosed vulnerabilities, flaws F5 engineers were actively working to fix. Think about the strategic advantage this immediately hands the attackers. They now possess the blueprints to every lock in the houses of F5's global customer base. They acquired the master list of known weaknesses before defenders ever received the patch. This isn't a simple data leak, this is the weaponization of foresight. Immediately, the US Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, issued an Emergency Directive, ED 2601. CISA mandated that every federal civilian executive branch agency must immediately inventory its F5 devices, remove public-facing management interfaces, and apply all released patches on an accelerated timeline. When the government issues a directive with that urgency, it tells you the threat is foundational. It tells you the stakes involve national security and the stability of critical infrastructure. They believe the attackers used malware called Brickstorm, and evidence points toward the China Nexus espionage group designated UNC 5221. We face enemies who play a 4D chess game, moving quietly in the shadows for months, sometimes years. Your takeaway from this major breach is simple. Blind trust is a liability. Visibility is your greatest defense. You must stop assuming your vendor solved the problem. You must start verifying the state of your own network with zero-tolerance vigilance. F5 acted, rotating cryptographic signing keys and implementing stronger controls, but the damage is done. The source code is in the hands of a hostile actor. The only thing separating them from exploiting it against your organization is your speed of action today. Chapter 2. the ghost in the machine, Linux rootkits. Now we shift our focus from the corporate breach to the digital shadow war being fought at the operating system level, where persistence and stealth are the ultimate weapons. We talk about Linux rootkits, the true ghosts in the machine. What is a rootkit? It is a sinister software package designed not just to gain control, but to maintain control while utterly concealing its existence. The name says it all. It aims for the root, the ultimate administrative power on a Linux system, and creates a kit of tools to hide its own presence. In this recent cycle, investigators discovered the highly sophisticated LinkPro Linux rootkit operating in the wild, specifically observed compromising an Amazon Web Services (AWS) hosted infrastructure. Attackers did not use simple tactics. They employed a chillingly advanced technique using eBPF, Extended Berkeley Packet Filter modules. Understand the profound technical threat here. eBPF is a cutting-edge Linux kernel technology. It allows programs to run inside the Linux kernel without changing the kernel's source code. Defenders originally praised eBPF as a security tool, a way to gain deep, low-level network visibility. But the attackers inverted this defense into an offense. LinkPro features two separate eBPF modules. They use one module to conceal their processes and files. They use the second module to create a covert communication channel. A normal rootkit hooks system calls. An eBPF rootkit achieves the same goal by manipulating network packet filtering and system tracing from within the kernel space. This gives the adversary the power to filter out any sign of their malicious activity before the operating system logs it or any security agent sees it. It's like a thief who controls the security camera feed from inside the camera itself. The activation mechanism is another stroke of genius in stealth. LinkPro waits in complete silence until it receives a magic packet, a TCP SYN packet with a very specific, unique window size, 54321. Only upon receiving that secret handshake does the rootkit awaken, awaiting further instruction. For security teams monitoring standard network traffic, the rootkit simply looks like dormant system noise. They observe silence, but a deadly, hidden war rages beneath the surface. This shows us the new standard of attack, deep persistence. The threat actors are not looking for a smash and grab, they want long-term tenancy. They seek to embed themselves at the deepest layer of your system's foundation, the kernel, where they can manipulate logs, hijack processes, and maintain unauthorized access for years. If you operate on Linux, in the cloud, on servers, or in any major enterprise environment, you must recognize that signature-based detection is insufficient. You need true kernel integrity monitoring and behavioral analysis that watches for the behavior of tools like eBPF being misused, not just for the name of a malicious file. We must stop hunting files and start hunting behavior. Chapter 3. Decoding the Predator's Playbook. The story of the week is a narrative of long-term infiltration, social engineering, and the exploitation of trust. The F5 breach was a sophisticated theft of secrets. The rootkits represent the ultimate tool for ongoing espionage. But the common thread linking all successful breaches is the human element. Attackers understand human behavior better than most security teams. They use high-leverage emotional traps to gain initial access. Take the campaign called Contagious Interview. The adversaries do not hack a firewall, they target ambition and desperation. They approach professionals on LinkedIn, posing as highly credible recruiters or hiring managers. They lure the target into a conversation, then shift the dialogue to a private channel like Telegram. Under the guise of a job assessment or a technical test, they trick the victim into running malicious code on their own machine. The victim executed the code willingly. The attackers utilized a JavaScript downloader interacting with a malicious smart contract on the Binance Smart Chain, BSC, to deploy a secondary stage, which queries an Ethereum address to fetch the final payload, often a tool called Invisible Ferret. The complexity of the financial chain hides the command and control infrastructure. You see the pattern? It is a multi-layered attack combining 1. Social engineering, exploiting trust and professional aspiration. 2. Infrastructure abuse, using legitimate platforms, LinkedIn, Telegram, blockchain, to mask malicious activity. 3. Self-inflicted damage, coercing the target into breaching their own system. We also saw the massive wave of SEO poisoning, where threat actors manipulated search engine results to place malicious lookalike websites, such as fake Ivanti Pulse, secure installers, at the top of results for users seeking legitimate VPN software. When the user downloads the file, a credential-stealing DLL immediately goes to work, locating and exfiltrating saved VPN server URIs and login details. They did not attack the VPN server, they attacked the user's need for the software. Chapter 4. Your clear path to digital mastery. You see the challenge. The sheer volume of threats, from nation-state source code theft to invisible kernel rootkits to professional social deception, can feel overwhelming. But that feeling of being overwhelmed is the enemy's greatest weapon. You must convert fear into focused, massive action. Here is your immediate clear path forward, whether you are a CEO, a chief security officer, or a concerned individual. 1. Embrace radical transparency and patching. If you own or manage F5 big IP products, the time for hesitation is over. You must apply the latest patches today. You must isolate all networked management interfaces from the public internet immediately. Inventory every device and decommission any public-facing systems that have reached end-of-life support. Do not wait for a breach to make these decisions. You control the timeline of your defense. 2. Demand deep visibility. For your Linux environments, recognize that traditional antivirus is dead. You need extended detection and response, XDR, that operates at the kernel level. Deploy tools that scrutinize eBPF usage and monitor for anomalous behavior in deep system calls. Stop looking for the rootkit file and start looking for the rootkit actions. 3. Harden the human firewall. The human element remains the weakest link. You must inoculate yourself and your team against psychological warfare. Implement mandatory, rigorous, and frequent training that simulates LinkedIn spear phishing and job assessment scams. Teach your team to treat every unsolicited professional contact, especially one that asks them to run an executable, as a loaded weapon. Trust is a gift, verify is a discipline. 4. Shift your mindset. Recognize that in the digital world, persistence is the new normal. Assume the breach already happened. This mindset shift forces you to focus on resilience, segmentation, and rapid recovery, rather than on the impossible goal of 100% prevention. You must make your environment so hostile to a long-term attacker that persistence becomes impossible. This week's incidents are not just stories of failure, they are blueprints for your ultimate success. They illustrate precisely where the highest leverage opportunities for defense now lie. You possess the power to change the rules of the game. You decide now that you will not be a victim of statistics. You will become the outlier. You will become the defense that defines the future. Take this knowledge. Apply it with relentless focus. Transform your vulnerability into absolute control. If this knowledge ignited a spark in your strategy, then ignite the network around you. Share this video with everyone who needs this vital update. Like this video to amplify its reach. And most importantly, subscribe to Dr. Carmenatty's channel. Join this community of high-impact action takers who refuse to settle for anything less than digital dominance. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a strategic advantage. We mobilize now.